Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another thread discussion video, and today, by the title, as you can see, what is the next major content after Rebellions? So we have a couple of dev replies over here, kind of big replies. We're going to see exactly what they're talking about. I don't know if he's going to exactly talk about this subject because it's all the way on page 10, but I'm pretty sure he will reference it and kind of give us an insight on content that is to come. But let's read this, and then just a couple, what's called 2 lines, and then read the dev replies. I'm also going to give my input on it as we go. And yeah, let's get right into it. I'm going to link this down below for you guys to check out. And let's do it. Alrighty, so Rebellions is a good major content after months. Will there be any planned major content in the upcoming patches? Thank you. Alright, so we just did a, what do you call it? Because this was on the 28th of last year, December. So we just did a thread that came out, like I say, a day or two ago, and the devs have responded. They are working on kingdom actions and clan actions, and what this means are kind of like control actions. What this means is you can like tell your clan members and also your kingdom members, which are the actual clans themselves, stuff to do in terms of like, hey, go defend this area, or hey, go attack this area, or go do this. And then for the clan actions, it's like, hey, can you get more cavalry? Can you do this? Can you do that? And stuff like that, just like actions in general. So that video is already on my channel. If you're watching this video, it came out probably yesterday or 2 days before, something around there. But yeah, that's kind of the major stuff that's coming. But let's see what other people have to say. So we got diplomacy and education. Education is coming in 1.5 point. It's actually it's already here. I said it's coming. it's already here in 1.5.7. But in terms of as of December 28th, it was on the way. What do we got? So education system, we got directives for clan members. That's what they're working on right now. We are getting the what's it called? The improved sieges with keep battles. That is coming in the future. Don't know exactly when. Breakout prisoners. That's also a feature that's coming. And then obviously, I'm pretty sure we're going to get more diplomacy, more alliances, and all that changes in the future. I don't know exactly if it's the near or a little bit of a far future, but it is on the way. All right, let's see what the devs have to say. Okay. So we have a person asking a question and the devs replying. So, question: does Tailworlds have any plans to address this siege defense problem? What is the siege defense problem? I think the siege defense problem is like once you try to defend a siege, they stop sieging right away. Maybe that's the problem. But all right, so dev response: what do you suggest? A, reducing break-in penalty so player loses less men when entering to a castle or town. Okay, so if you guys don't know what the break-in penalty is, so if someone is sieging your town and you want to break into the town and then defend it, you lose a percentage of your men, right? And in doing this, you're kind of under the implication that they're gonna stay and still siege the fief that you just broke into, but usually they just leave right away. And then if you exit out, you're down troops, and if you kind of move away a little bit, they're gonna try to siege it again, and you're gonna lose troops again, and it's just like this cat and mouse game that isn't great for gameplay. But the devs have made changes to do with how the AI what's it called, calculates if they're going to continue the siege or not, and it should happen less frequently, but it probably still does happen a lot. And then we have B, AI to count player as 15 to 25% strength instead of 50% if he's still inside the settlement. Again, more changes to the calculation of them either choosing to stay or leaving. Alrighty, additional info. Currently, players count as half strength already. We added it 1.5x to allow player to experience siege defense, but it seems that this was not enough. Yeah, like I told you, they added some different stuff to the calculation, so this wouldn't happen as often, but it looks like it didn't really make much of a change. So if there's 200 men player party inside a settlement AI, already count player party as 100 men, 50% rule. When player enters the settlement, attacker/defender ratio changes and the AI usually gives up. Sometimes they did not give up. However, normally AI do not siege if if they have no good ratio more than 3 times. Okay, so the AI usually gives up if their ratio goes below 3 times the amount of attackers to defenders. Okay, because they cannot start a siege, which they can now win. On paper, simulations have 3 to 4 times defender advantage. So let's assume you're inside a castle with a 200 garrison, and if your party is 200 men, also attacker AI should be at least 900 men to attack, and that's because the 200 garrison is counted as 200, and then you're counted as only 50% in the calculation. So your 200 men would actually be 100 men in the AI's what's called calculations, which would equal 300. 200 plus the 100, which is 50% of your 200, and that is 3 times less than 900. Makes sense. Actually, strength ratio is important, so your troop tiers is important, but I'm simplifying. Exactly. So what he means by this, we've gone over this recently too, and I'm kind of not surprised by it, but it's a new thing that I learned. So when it comes to strength, a tier 6 troop counts as 6 strength, and a tier 1 troop counts as 1 strength. And then all the other tiers count as their number. And when you see the strength of a total kingdom, that is, it's not, let's say the strength of a kingdom is 20,000. It's not actually 20,000 troops. It's probably a lot less, because you have a lot of tier 6s, a lot of tier 5s, tier 4s that count as their respective number. But all right. However, real problem is if you think 200 garrison plus 200 player party as defenders versus 600 attackers is a good ratio for attackers. However, simulations are not working like this. Okay, in missions there is nearly no defense advantage currently. They are like field battles. Biggest negative of Bannerlord, in my opinion. Should be solved ASAP, but not my part. But when Bannerlord is finished, there should be at least 2 times defensive advantage at also missions. I do not know how this will be achieved, but I hope it will be solved. Also, what he's saying pretty much, is he talking about auto calculation advantage? Cause I think that's what he means. I think there's no defensive advantage when doing an auto calculation in a siege. I think that's what he's saying, and it's no different from a field battle. So if you just play it out, if the AI plays it out without the player being involved, obviously the siege doesn't happen. It's just an auto calculation, and it's just the same as field battles, which I do agree that's not how it should be. There should be kind of an advantage for the defenders. Makes sense. So AI thinks they cannot win the siege. That's why they're giving up when you enter it, or they continue building siege machines outside to reduce this 3 to 4 defensive advantage. More equipment means worse defensive advantage at simulations. Okay, makes sense. Pretty self-explanatory. All right, we have another player. So we have 2 suggestions from this player. How about secret passages with daily infiltration rate caps, because you can't infiltrate 500 men in a single day without getting unnoticed. Infiltrated soldiers will not be counted until the battle. This mechanic can only be for the player. AI doesn't whine as I am. Okay. It can be related with castle city projects and some kind of related player companion skills. I'll be honest with you, that's probably not going to happen. I get where he's coming from this, where instead of losing men, you can slowly kind of like get him in there, but I don't think they're going to implement something like that in the game. It makes sense, but might be a good mod. So Dev responds, we do not have any projects just for the player in game. We do add this AI should also use. Then player can enter battle and leave battle when he sees there are more men than what he saw at tooltip. However, there can be a new town project, maybe reducing men loss ratio while entering a town castle under siege. However, still same problem. When you enter a settlement AI, AI will realize the attacker / defender ratio is changed so much, and they will give up on the siege. Only way is making AI a bit dumb for the player only, so they will count player strength as 20% of its real value, and they will enter a siege battle even if they lose it. If players are okay, we can do this. Okay, so pretty much what he's saying is he could make a town project where you lose less men by entering it, but you still have the problem of the AI still leaving. But what's it called? They can't change the 50% that the AI calculates to 20%, and they will stay and probably lose. Okay, you could try it and see if it does help. I think it would kind of help. I think more battles as you being the defender is probably very good for gameplay, so not opposed to it. I think that's it for this pick. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. Alrighty, I have another player. For me, it is fine that the AI attacks just when it guesses that they will win. The problem is that the final result of the battle is almost all the times expected one, and there is something and that is something that in the real world never happens. You know the famous phrase, "No plan survives contact with enemy"? No, I do not. But it doesn't seem the case in Bannerlord. So the siege should have some events that makes things harder unexpectedly, like the ramp being broken, the siege tower getting stuck in mud. Also, I think the castle gates should be harder to break right now. It's just a matter of time to break the doors and rush troops against the wall. That's for only for some castles. Like there's some castles that like the defenses are so good for the gates. It's like crazy. Like they have like these secondary gates, and in between the two gates, you either got like the rocks being thrown at you, or you have like a lot of archers being pointed at you. There's some castles like that are pretty good at it. But I get what he's saying. Right now, okay, hold on. Where was I? The AI should use oil rock and effectively make the entrance really deadly. Again, for some castles that is the case, but not for all. Which I think it should be changed for all, and there should be better defenses. But I do agree it should be more deadly. So predict the final result should be really hard, like it is in real life. Okay. So Dev responds, "You are right. I do not code these parts, but I really want a hidden random factor inside all simulations. So probability of having unexpected results should be higher, especially at sieges." Okay, he says it's kind of out of his control because it's not his code, but he kind of agrees with it. Okay, I added below addition, and we'll try to send it to hotfix. Will not be today's one. It will add an additional 0.7 constant to all party strengths, which is currently at player settlements. So player party strength will be counted as 0.35 instead of 0.5, and others will be counted as 0.7 instead of, X. Okay, so it looks like it's getting dropped down even more. So before, if you had 100 men and you try to join the castle or break in, the AI would see that as 50 men, which is 50%. Now it's going to see it as 35 men, which is 35%. And he's going to pretty much see if this will help with the sieges. Okay, this is what it looks like for all the coders out there. If you wanted to see, it's on the screen right now. There it is. I read other detailed ideas too. We'll answer them later today. Okay. Now let's see what this is about as well. Oh man, it's a big response. Okay, so player says, "Don't know if you have played Viking Conquest." I'm pretty sure he has. In it, when you besiege some place, there are many immersive options on how to conduct the siege, like burning nearby crops, poisoning the well, foraging, and most important, encirclement. Without building encirclement, the garrison would make your army's life a living, I don't even know if I could say that, living H, conducting guerrilla assaults and grind your guys over time. If you didn't have a strong enough force to stand the assaults, it would force you to lift the siege. Now, knowing that, and although I prefer the full range of features Viking Conquest had for sieges, I'll keep simple and suggest, what if you had a new siege option for building encirclement after the siege preparation? Without it, any enemy armies or single lords could not pass through the besiegers and join the garrison without any losses. With the encirclement built, they could need to force their way through, and it is now, and take some losses if you want to join the garrison defending the walls. Interesting. I think that'd be a cool feature. Obviously, encircling, like let's say a castle, and if somebody wants to join, they have to fight a portion of the army that's encircling it, not the whole army, but a portion of it to get through. They would still lose men, but in a way, they might, they'll drop men on the other side as well. Makes sense. It wouldn't be as deep as immersive as the siege options in Viking Conquest, but would give the defenders a better chance, especially if the AI would consider things like a relief force arrives, no encirclement. Good, I'll join the garrison / encirclement built. I'll wait outside until our numbers are enough to overwhelm the besiegers like they do right now. Thinking about it, I feel like the AI should be able to do the break-in feature as well. They don't do it right now, if I'm not mistaken. That could probably be abused by because the AI would make a lot of mistakes and you would lose a lot of people. The AI would lose a lot of people. That would cause a lot of problems. Actually, never mind. The besieging AI would calculate if they could afford time to build an encirclement, or if it would be best to conduct the siege faster and try to storm the walls before any relief force could arrive. With this, I think it would help the players to experience more defensive sieges too. With the current loss numbers and defensive AI really being bad, it's almost never worth it to break into the besieged settlement to help the garrison. You lose too many good troops for that. Okay. Alright, developer responds. I could not reply to this yesterday, but biggest problem with the system is if we add this encirclement, then starting siege assault just after preliminary phase will be the best option. Currently, it makes no sense building additional siege equipments, especially for player sieges. Even only ladders are enough. If I can't read. If parties can enter settlements, then we will force player and AI to make assault as fast as they can. True. Okay. So what he's saying is, what's the point of making that encirclement to keep them out if you can just press attack right away and none of them will get in by any chance? Okay. This can be a good design, what you offer, but it does not suit current state of Bannerlord. First, we have to make equipments more important. Starting assaults with only ladders should result in a very hard situation for attackers. Make ladders break. I've been saying it. Make them break and make them spawn. You know how like the siege towers and the how they spawn all the way in the back? Make it so, or you know how there's like rock piles and there's like those infinitely what do you call them? It's like those arrow buckets that just you can infinitely refresh your arrows. I said refresh, but kind of like, you know, you can get your arrows back to full always. Replenish. That's the word I was looking for. Make a pile of ladders. Make it so 2 troops have to carry it, and if the ladder breaks, which it should be kind of easier to break, you throw a couple rocks at it. I said rocks. You throw a couple rocks at it, or you shoot some arrows at it, and it does break. You need to get 2 more people, or whoever's closest to 2 troops, whoever's closest are gonna run to the next ladder and try to bring it up there. I think that should be kind of implemented in a way. I think that would be pretty good. If parties can enter settlements, they will force player and AI to make assault as fast as they can. Okay, wait, hold on. I already read that. Sorry about that. So first, we need to make the equipment more important. We read that. And siege missions should be harder for attacker, and they need these equipments to be successful. True. Other problem is only entrance of settlement is their gates. Then there will be a weird situation. Parties will pass by siegers and enter the settlement when there's no encirclement. Player will be disturbed when a party come close to his party and will force him to give up siege and catch him while he is passing by. Wait, hold on, what? Player will be disturbed when a party comes close to his party and will force him to... Oh, okay, so if you don't choose it, obviously they're just all going to run in and you're never really going to get a siege going. Okay. Kind of complicated problem. I get it. Obviously, there's a couple ways to go for it. We're going to see how the changes of making it 0.35 is going to do it. See if that changes a little bit. But again, I think ladders should be breakable. And obviously, I think in auto calculation, the defenders should have a better, should have a perk to their, or a plus to their, their strength. But yeah, what do you guys think about it? We didn't really touch on the main thing, which is what next major content is coming after Rebellions. I'm going to have to probably title this something else. Probably title this like some future, siege changes. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Ask me any questions, any concerns, and like always, stay safe.